Why do we often find ourselves reacting to situations in ways that seem extreme or out of proportion? Picture this scenario. Someone cuts you off in traffic and your heart races, your fists clench, and words you wouldn't normally say burst from your lips. What's happening here? Why do we overreact? Today, we're diving deep into trigger mechanisms and the concept of the Stoic pause, a practice that redirects our behavior for the better. Our brains are wired to react instinctively. This is a survival mechanism inherited from our ancestors, who had to react quickly to threats in their environment. However, in today's world, this can often lead to overreactions. We have transformed instinctual reactions that once kept us alive into emotional responses that can disrupt our lives. Consider this. One study found that when people feel threatened or stressed, they are more likely to lash out rather than respond thoughtfully. This is often due to the triggers that activate our emotional brain, the amygdala. When provoked, the amygdala sidelines the part of our brain responsible for rational thought, leading us to act out in ways we may later regret. For many, the initial impulse is to blame external circumstances or other people. But, in reality, our inner world holds the keys to our reactions. Imagine that every time you're provoked, a switch flips in your mind, igniting a powerful surge of emotion that clouds your judgment. It's easy to feel justified in our emotional outbursts, yet it does more harm than good, both to ourselves and those around us. So how can we combat this cycle? This is where the practice of the Stoic pause comes into play. Stoicism teaches us the power of taking a moment to breathe, to reflect, before we react. The Stoics believed that while we cannot control external events, we can control how we respond to them. It's about training our minds to create space between stimulus and response, a buffer that allows us to choose our actions more wisely. Let's break this down. The Stoic pause consists of 3 critical steps: awareness, reflection, and response. First, awareness means identifying when you're feeling triggered. What sensations are arising within you? Is your heart racing? Are you tense? Simply acknowledging these feelings is the first step toward regaining control. Next comes reflection. Instead of immediately reacting, take a moment to ask yourself why you're feeling this way. What beliefs or assumptions are influencing your current state? By examining the trigger, you can often see how much of your response is exaggerated by past experiences or internal fears. Finally, we arrive at response. Here, you have the power to choose how to move forward. Instead of reacting with anger or frustration, you can decide to express your thoughts calmly, or perhaps you may choose to walk away from a situation entirely. This empowers you to break the cycle of overreaction and act in line with your values. Let's take a moment to visualize this. Imagine every time you feel provoked, you take a deep breath, pause, and give yourself a moment to reflect. By incorporating this practice, you not only change how you respond, but also how you perceive yourself. You become more resilient, more in control, and ultimately more aligned with the person you want to be. But here's the kicker. The Stoic pause isn't just useful in high-stress scenarios. It can be applied in everyday situations as well. Think about your interactions with friends, family, or colleagues. Even minor triggers like a sarcastic comment or a slight misunderstanding can lead to disproportionate responses. The best part? Developing this habit cultivates a lasting change within you. Now let's face the truth. Most people think they can handle their emotions, but the reality is that unchecked reactions can spiral out of control. By practicing the Stoic pause, we gain an advantage in the battle against our instinctual responses. We become part of a select group of individuals who acknowledge their triggers and choose a thoughtful path instead of succumbing to cultural norms of sudden outrage. If you find yourself intrigued by this idea, consider how powerful it would be to handle conflicts, disappointments, or frustrations with grace and composure. So, if you want to integrate this into your own life, start small. Set an intention to practice the Stoic pause once a day. It could be as simple as taking a deep breath before responding to an email or stepping back from a heated conversation. Reflect on your beliefs and reactions, and challenge yourself to create a response that serves you better. By doing this, you will not only transform your own life, but also impact those around you. Remember, in a world filled with triggers, embracing the Stoic pause gives you an incredible edge. It allows you to redefine your emotional landscape and choose the life you desire consciously. As we near the end of this exploration into why we overreact, I invite you to think about the moments in your day-to-day life where this practice could have the most profound impact. Reflect on the people you interact with and the environments you navigate. Picture yourself responding with thoughtfulness instead of reacting with impulse. You now possess the knowledge to redirect your behavior and manage your triggers. The choice is yours. Will you allow the storm of emotion to dictate your actions, or will you harness the power of the Stoic pause to create a calmer, more resilient version of yourself? Remember, every moment of anger is a moment of reflection lost. The more you practice, the easier it will become. Embrace the pause and let it lead you toward a life marked by clarity rather than chaos. Let's cultivate that inner peace together. And here's the deeper truth that most people overlook. Overreactions are not signs of weakness, but signals. Messages from within that something in us is asking to be understood. When you begin to read those signals instead of fighting them, you stop being a prisoner of your impulses. You become the observer of your inner storms, not the one swept away by them. This is where emotional maturity is born. Imagine what would happen if, instead of exploding or shutting down, you met your triggers with curiosity. Imagine asking yourself, what is this moment trying to show me? Suddenly, the energy that once fueled anger transforms into awareness. Your reactions stop being wildfires and start becoming lanterns, lighting up the parts of you that still need healing. And slowly, with practice, your inner landscape changes. The emotional explosions become rare. The tension dissolves faster. You no longer feel controlled by the world around you. You find yourself breathing deeper, responding slower, seeing clearer. This is the quiet power of the Stoic pause. It doesn't eliminate emotion, it refines it. Eventually, you realize something profound. Peace was never about avoiding triggers, but mastering the space between trigger and response. That space becomes your freedom, your strength, your anchor. And in that space, you discover the version of yourself who isn't reactive, but intentional, who isn't ruled by impulse, but guided by wisdom.